Big showdowns this past weekend, NorCal, SoCal Elite College. We look ahead to the Delfina USA Champions Cup this weekend and much more, all coming up next on a brand new Counterattack. Hey everyone, Greg Meskel here. Thanks for joining us on the Counterattack right here on Overnght and USA Water Polo. Big weekend ahead. The Delfina USA Champions Cup returns to Bloomington, Indiana. Top 14 U clubs from around the country competing for gold. We'll talk with Chicago Park District coach Nicole. They've got two squads entered in Champions Cup this weekend. Also, did you catch that Emma Lineback video? The perfect impression of Andy Richter dancing with the stars. We've got more on that. We'll talk with Emma. She'll also be a part of the upcoming Legacy Crown. Looking forward to that event in a couple of weeks. But first, we start with the men's college water polo scene. SoCal, NorCal getting together. Let's check out highlights of some of the close ones this past weekend. UCLA, Stanford, that was a thriller. And then USC and Cal, both right here live on Overnght.
Exclusion before the buzzer. 6-on-5 here. And shuts the door. Tauscher with the save. Brinkema goes cross cage. Loose ball up for grabs, and it's Carson who gets to it. Sherlock with room. The lefty, a few fakes. Touch pass over the top. And a nice lob. Polo gets it near side. Lathy inside, catch and shoot. Temkin there to save. Dished back out to Ole. Ole goes cross cage. Moving to his right, back down to Lathy. Lathy goes cross cage and scores. Dodd feeds it inside. Castillo steps away and Castillo scores. Feed inside. Seichi trying to step away. Temkin there for the save. Carcelade quick feed. Seichi this time gets it to go. Seichi fired up. Carcelade back over to Lathy. Nice post switch. Finds Seichi. Picks out Dodd. And he scores on the catch and shoot. Dishes across. Ryan Ole at the buzzer. Tauscher there for the save. Dodd leaked out early, long outlet pass, makes it to Dodd. He's one-on-one, steps away, Temkin with the save. Lathy, couple fakes, draws the defender. Brinkema goes to chase Dodd. Temkin again closes the door. With it, McFarland winds up, Tauscher there. And now Carcelade winds up and converts! Tico Carcelade!
Top Vukazic. All the way across, Lopez Duart. He rises, fakes one, shoots, scores! Bottom left corner, bounces it home. Rises. And a great save! Pina with the right hand. Cal still looking for goal number one. Shot, there it is! Akblediani. Shot clock. In the corner, Pomferrana. Entry pass inside. Left-handed catch. Left-handed goal from Dominic Brown. To Vukazic. 9 on the shot clock. Gotta move quick. Naipoglu with the changeup.
Getting lazy at the end of the first quarter.
Lopez Duart scores! Pomferrana. One more pass now into the corner. Akblediani's denied. Mills, Vukazic puts it into the back of the net. Brony, the freshman, up against Mills, has all the space. Mills stonewalls. Nelson winds, shoots, scores! With 10 on the shot clock, shoots near side. Pina, good save. Kirstich has Vukazic on the back door, flips it to him. Vukazic slams it home.
And now on to our college scoreboard. Those other LA matchups. USC moving past Stanford 14-9. UCLA over Cal 18-12. This puts a lot of pressure on the Cal-Stanford matchup coming up on the 15th. That could play a major role in an at-large selection depending on what happens at the MPSF tourney. Pacific, they've started to round into form here. They defeat Cal Baptist 14-11. And then that topsy-turvy, unpredictable Big West, UC Santa Barbara downing UC Davis 16-13. Now on to women's water polo. We've been hyping up the Legacy Crown brand new event, bringing together elite college teams. They'll be taking part at two venues, Costa Mesa High School, Orange Coast College. Coming up November 15-16, we'll have live coverage of every single match right here on Overnght. Looking forward to a great weekend there in Orange County. It's a nice little segue off to one of the competitors, Emma Lineback, capping up with her UCLA squad. They're one of the college teams competing. But away from the pool, Emma with this perfect impression of Andy Richter from Dancing with the Stars. Halloween was just last week. Even the DWTS social account loved to take a look, as did Andy.
What? I don't like that. I don't like you laughing so hard. Wait.
This woman really nailed you. It's exactly what you're wearing today.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Good job, Emma Lineback.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Now, it was earlier this week that our guy Flavor Flav was a celebrity judge on Dancing with the Stars. Emma Lineback got to be in the crowd to cheer on Flav and all the competitors there on Dancing with the Stars. That was a great moment. And now let's talk with Emma about her week, putting together a fun video, getting a chance to be there in the studio, and of course, looking ahead to big-time competition with UCLA, not just a legacy crown, but then also next spring, and of course, her time with Team USA as one of the rising stars on that squad. Our latest big conversation here on the counterattack, talking with Team USA, UCLA, Emma Lineback. Emma, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Doing all right, doing all right. We'll talk about the water polo here shortly, but I feel like the video people have watched of you a lot lately is your spot-on Andy Richter impression. I think OG comedy fans know Andy Richter from Conan, and that's where I watched him for a number of years. But on Dancing with the Stars, let's start there, and as the interview goes, we'll show some of the clips of your video. I assume you're a big fan of the show, but tell me how kind of the impression came about, and then the things that came after.
Yeah, my roommates and I watch the show every week. It's usually a big watch party. Um, and I just really like Andy and Emma as a duo because I think he gets better every week and he's just really fun to watch and seems like a really good person, like from what I've seen on the show. And all of their content is super funny. And so I've personally been voting for him every week. And our team, we have weights and we had weights on Halloween. And my lifting partner Becca and I were like, oh my God, what should we be for Halloween? Kind of like shooting ideas back and forth. And then we were like, oh my God, what if we were Andy Richter for Halloween and dress up as him? Because everyone goes all out on our team for Halloween weights. And we thought it'd be funny and pretty easy to do. So yeah, so that's where we got the idea and then just made a TikTok and posted it as a joke. Um, and my teammates and I were like joking all day. We're like, if this goes viral, like I hope Andy sees this. That'd be so cool. Like just joking. Like I think at one point like said to Bia, if this isn't viral by the time I'm out of practice, I'm gonna be so sad because I'm such a big Andy fan. Um, and yeah, so it just was like it started as like a joke and just I guess took off from there.
When you saw the video, then they had this great video, right, of kind of him reacting to
Mhm.
your video. What did you think of that?
Oh my God, that was crazy. Because he was wearing the same color shirt that I was. Um,
Yes.
that was creepy. Well, really freaky. Because I just picked a big blue shirt because of Go Bruins, UCLA blue. And that just happened to be what he was wearing that day. And I guess that's why Emma like showed him the video and they made a reaction to it. And I had no idea. I was driving home at the time and my phone started blowing up from people like sending me the video. And yeah, so it was really cool. I did not see that coming at all.
That's so funny. Watching it the first time through, I just assumed. Admittedly, I don't watch Dancing with the Stars all that often. I thought that was kind of just like a reoccurring outfit, but you just happened to like land exactly on the outfit he was wearing that day. Is unreal.
Yeah, well, from like their videos of like rehearsals, he always wears like shorts and the knee braces and like a colored t-shirt. And I just happened to pick a blue one that day. And like so did he.
Amazing, amazing. And then you kind of fast forward a couple of days, and Flavor Flav, team sponsor and USA Water Polo sponsor, happens to get picked to be celebrity judge on an episode. We're
Yeah.
talking on Wednesday. This was just last night, and you got to be there in the crowd. What was that experience like to be on site? Did you get a chance to talk to Andy or to Flav, or how did all that play out?
Um, it kind of played out, like everyone was just kind of joking around, what if that gets you on the show? And then I saw that it was Flav, And I texted Allie back and was like, should I reach out to Maggie? Because she's they're like closer than like I have only met Flav one time. And obviously Maggie is the one who got like the message out to him and got him to become a sponsor of our team. And I texted Maggie and was like, do you think like this is possible? And she was like, oh my gosh, was such a funny video. I'll send it to him. And she made a group chat with me and his manager. And then like a couple hours later, they were like, we got you a ticket. Um, and it was super cool. So big thank you to Maggie and Flav and his team for making that happen. The show was super cool. I thought like I was just gonna be up in like the high seats. I was like on the floor, um, behind the judges table, and so just to see the performances live and see everything that goes into making the show was really cool. Everything moves so fast, and like you only get one take, which was really cool to see all of those performances from that perspective. And I did get to meet Andy at the end of the show and talk to Flav for a bit, which was cool.
Is there a photo of Emma and Andy out there somewhere?
Yeah, there is. I'm gonna post it. There's a
Excellent,
photo.
excellent, very cool. Well, looking forward to seeing that as well. I have to ask, since you're such a big fan, what are your dancing abilities? Are you someone that people like? Man, once Emma's on the dance floor, watch out.
I have to say no. I do think Amanda Longan should be the next one on Dancing with the Stars for sure. I'll be in the crowd cheering for her, but I'm not the greatest dancer. And that's okay. That's not my thing. But I love to watch it. It's really cool.
Fair enough. Sure, sure. Well, that's good stuff. What an awesome experience, and the benefits of just putting yourself out there and making a video and seeing what happens. That's really cool. I'm glad you got to be there on site. Let's talk a little water polo. You're in your off season now with UCLA, Legacy Crown coming up. A big tourney here to kind of finish up the off season. Tell me about kind of the excitement for you and the team of getting a chance to have some high level competition, and how you hope maybe that benefits your spring season.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the Legacy Crown. I think it's going to be a great way, based on everything Adam and Molly have said and how it's going to be set up. It's going to be a great way to get more people to see the sport. And I've been encouraging people that I coach or people from Laguna that are like younger on the teams, like to come watch. So I'm super excited to have this tournament in the fall season because I feel like we never have any big women's water polo events like this in the fall. And for UCLA, we're super excited to get the chance to play. Just because like the more games we can get before season starts, the more experience the newcomers can get and the transfers can get, and the more reps that we can get at game speed as a team is great for our development and the connections that we make in the water. We try and replicate as much as we can at practice, but having a chance to play in a tournament setting is going to be really cool for us, and we're all super excited.
Now, looking towards next season, Bruins finished off the podium, if you will, outside of the championship game last year in Indy. What do you think needs to be different this time around? How do you help the Bruins get to where you want to be? Of course, champs a couple of seasons ago. So how do you make that happen? You and the rest of the squad here, looking towards 2026.
Yeah, I think last year it definitely still stings. For sure, that was a heartbreaking loss and a tough game. Really well fought game. I was really proud of the fight in our team, and I think we just need to take more advantage of having more opportunity this fall to play games and take every advantage in practice of making every rep count and just putting in the daily work. Not that we weren't last season, but it's just got to go up a level. Um, and I think we can totally do it. We have a great team, great group of girls. I'm really excited to see what this team can do. And we just all have to work together and do our part every day in training to push us to that ultimate goal of winning the national championship and being on that podium.
Let's talk a little Team USA now. You've been in the mix here for a number of years, trained with that Paris squad, and then getting a chance to be a part of things like the World Championships this past summer. I'm curious, at least looking back towards the quad and kind of training for Paris, and you kind of take that leap, and you don't know where we'll end up, but there's sacrifice, right? You take time away from school and that sort of thing to train. even though you weren't part of that Paris roster, I'm curious as you look back on it now, what did you gain from that? What was the benefit for you personally, growth, water polo? What did you take from that training for Paris process?
I took away so much. I think I definitely don't regret that choice. I think I wouldn't be at all playing at the level that I'm playing at now. It definitely was really hard at times and really brutal, when you're like the only one left off trips and things like that. It definitely is tough. And I think for me, like having to guard Rachel and Maddie and Maggie every day was so challenging mentally and physically, but just getting those reps against such high level players that I've looked up to for years, and being around them and the way that they work every day made me work really hard, and just push myself. And I've tried to carry that into UCLA and still on the national team, trying to just like work as hard as I possibly can. And um it obviously was hard, like not making the Paris team, but I did know that going into the quad when I decided to train that it was probably not going to happen. And so I'm just trying to go in with that same mentality of this squad of like I'm just going to go for it and give it my all, and if it happens it happens, and if it doesn't I worked as hard as I could and I tried my absolute best to make that team. But yeah, I took away so much. It was such a great experience.
And then what's it been like to kind of have that growth post Paris with Team USA, where then you do get more opportunities and maybe you see some of the hard work paying off with opportunities to play.
Yeah, I mean, this summer it was really cool. That was my first like real tournament going to, and being a newcomer, it was definitely there's a lot of nerves. And um like it was like I wasn't like a returner, but I wasn't a newcomer because I'd been around with the group, but it was still my first tournament and lots of nerves there, lots of excitement. And I was just happy um to be there and to play against those international teams and play with girls that are so dedicated to the process. And I don't think I would have had that opportunity if I didn't train with the Paris squad.
What's something as you look towards LA and of course your future UCLA season? What's something that you still want to get better at? You feel like you're still working at as a player?
Oh gosh, just one thing, or there's lots of things. I think a big one for me is strength. I'm a shorter player, so I'm just trying to get stronger, and that's just in the weight room doing reps against the centers. Can always get better at center defending and post up defense. But mostly just strength, and I think the strength can carry to every phase of the game. But that's my big goal is that.
You're someone that can bring a lot of offense, and I'm always curious to talk to someone that can be a big goal scorer as they kind of climb the ranks. There always seems to be this kind of like feeling out process when you get to that next level of is this my turn to shoot, or is this my shot to take? And I was curious for you, what's that like, that kind of getting acclimated to whether it was year one at UCLA or with the women's senior national team, of like understanding this is my role, like I'm supposed to step up and take that shot, that's what's expected out of me. I think for me, I look at it sometimes and I wonder, are people thinking like, oh, should I let a more veteran person handle kind of the goal scoring? How do you work through that as you're trying to prove yourself, but also like find your place, if that makes sense?
I think still shooting at UCLA, like as I'm in my last year I've been around, still there's definitely nerves every time you take a shot. But I think I can even think back to like in 2023 or 2024 when I got to suit up in one of the China games. And that was like the only time I got to cap that whole time. And I was so excited and obviously so nervous 'cause I was like, "Oh my God, I'm getting a chance. I don't want to." It's really easy to be like, "I don't want to mess it up. Like, I'm just gonna play like more timid and not like." That's really easy to get in that spiral. And for me, I think I've always tried to be like, "I'm just gonna go for it," and rather be a little over aggressive and get told to dial it back than play afraid of making mistakes, and then that's the impression that I left. Because I think that would give me more regret, playing afraid. And I can still remember, like, I think it was Rachel, like, was yelling at me, like, "Get in there," like, to, like, shoot it, and it gave me so much confidence, and I don't know if I ended up scoring or not, but there's moments like that all the time, like, on every team I've ever been on. People are always like, you, like, get in there, your shot." And it always gives me confidence that to know that, okay, my teammates are telling me it's my shot, like, I'm not gonna, like, be afraid to shoot it. I'm just gonna, like, shoot it as hard as I can and go for it, and they trust me. Um, it's really helpful.
You've come into the water polo world out of the Laguna Beach area, a real hotbed for women's water polo. I'm curious, when you think about kind of the lineage of some of the great women that have come before you, what's it like to be the next player to kind of come out of such a water polo rich environment when you think about some of the legends that have come before you?
Yeah, it's I'm just really grateful to come from a place with so much water polo history, and it was so cool to play in Mackenzie and Aria's retirement game. Like, growing up, I, like, was at every single Laguna High School game, their set games, like, watch parties for Rio, for Tokyo. And Eric, I was so lucky to be coached by Eric as well, their dad, um, and just learn so much from him. And they would come sometimes to trainings, and it was like the coolest thing for me, as a young player. And I just hope that, moving forward, no matter, like, what happens with my water polo journey, that I can, give back to Laguna the way that they did. And they inspired me so much, and playing in their retirement game was really cool. It was like a whole full circle moment for me. Um, and I just had so much pride playing in that game.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, that was this past summer, honoring the Fishers, just winners across the board.
Yeah.
They've won so much. It's hard to kind of tally up all the wins and trophies and championships. Talking with Emma
Yeah.
Lineback. Last thing for you, because I thought you made an interesting point earlier around it being tough to be the one that doesn't get picked for stuff. If you looked big picture at water polo in the United States, and you're fairly humble, so I'll say it for you, like, you're one of the best players in the country, right? It's just true given your status on UCLA and where you're at with Team USA. There might be someone watching that it's not working for them. They got cut from the team. They didn't get picked for the roster. They didn't make the travel group. What did you learn from those humbling moments where you weren't picked? You didn't get to where you're wanting to go, that maybe have made you better or made you stronger, some sort of lesson maybe to share with others?
Yeah. I think for me, it's super easy. Like, when I think about it, it's really easy. If you're not making a roster, you're not, even if you're on a roster and you're getting a minute of playing time a game, it's super easy to get defensive about it and be like, oh, well, so and so is making this mistake. Like, I'm better than them at this, or say, oh, well, they just like so and so more than me. And for me, I think I always tried to look inward at myself and be like, why am I not making this team? Like, regardless of, like, whatever else is going on with other people, like, why am I not making the team? What can I get better at? And I've done a couple like ODP camps, and I've tried to say that, um, just like trying to prove the coach is wrong for not picking you. Like, if you don't move forward past this evaluation, or you don't make whatever roster you're trying to make, try and come back the next round and, like, prove them wrong for not selecting you for that one. Come back and pick one thing to work on and get better at that. And I think that's what I tried to do every time I wouldn't make a roster. I would spend the time the team was away working on something, whether it was I wanted to get a second faster on my test set time, I wanted to work on my shot blocking at a specific position versus specific shot. I think that's the best way, is just to look inward at yourself and think what you can do better.
Good stuff, Emma Lineback. Some really good advice there. Appreciate you sharing that and sharing a bit about your journey, and of course your Dancing with the Stars fun. Thanks for being here with us, and we're looking forward to seeing you and the Bruins at the Legacy Crown here coming up soon.
Yeah, super excited. It'll be a fun tournament. Thank you so much for having me.
We talked about Halloween. Our water polo community, they always go big for Halloween. A lot of photos sent in, people showing off their different takes on how they can highlight water polo or maybe showcase their team in the Halloween spirit. Take a look at a couple of the photos here that came in on our social channels last week for Halloween. Again, thanks to everyone that sent in their photos for Halloween. Always appreciate seeing what you're sharing out there. And now we move on to high school water polo. Talked about some champs last week, some more champions. One of the teams that seems to always be in the hunt in the state of Hawaii. Congrats. Another title for Punahou. They defeat Kamehameha. Once again, just a classic rivalry there in Hawaii high school water polo. So Punahou, they take the boys championship once again. Congrats there. We'll have more championship action. We're getting close, very, very close to CIF championship time in the state of California, amongst other state championships. So again, we'll share that as we go here on the counterattack, and looking forward to also sharing all those championship photos on our USA Water Polo social media accounts. Now turning to age group water polo, told you at the top, this weekend, big time 14U water polo at Indiana University, IU in Bloomington. The Delfina USA Champions Cup clubs coming from around the country to compete. Action gets going on Friday, live streaming all weekend with our friends at Goals, one of the clubs that is taking part. They're a unique club. It's the Chicago Park District. They are, as their name would suggest, part of a city park program. It's been an amazing effort to provide additional opportunities for members of the city of Chicago to compete in water polo, not just at the local level with their local park pool, but then nationally. CPD routinely sends teams, not just the Champions Cup, Junior Olympics, a host of other events. In fact, as we'll find out shortly in this interview, they sent an all-time high number of teams to JOs this past summer between sessions 1, 2, and 3. To help us talk all things Chicago Park District, we caught up with Nicole Lum, one of the coaches of CPD. Our latest big conversation here on the counterattack. We're joined by Nicole Lum from the Chicago Park District. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
We're talking leading into the Delfina USA Champions Cup. CPD will have two teams there in the boys and girls divisions, and we'll talk a bit about the history of the program and of the club. But first, what's the excitement like ahead of a big competition weekend for your athletes?
Yeah, it is a great weekend. It's one that we look forward to tremendously. It is always a joy when we can take both of our squads. They're very close. They do a lot together. And so it's really fun when we can bring both of them. Anything to represent the city and the club is what we are aiming for. So the kids are really excited. I don't know that necessarily the travel to Indiana is quite the same excitement level as the travel to California. But one of the mission sort of statements of the club since well before I was there was getting the kids to be able to participate in as many national competitions and to see that national competition consistently. So that's always our goal. We'll always attempt to enter a team, and if we qualify, then we are grateful to be able to represent the Midwest.
Not that far away. Does everyone just load up some vans? What's the route there to Bloomington?
Yeah, it's a quick shot for sure. Bloomington hosts an awesome tournament though. It's been there a number of times, and so it's a quick 3-hour drive over there, and so it's an easy gig. All we need is cars and hotels, so no flights on this one.
Well, one of the ties for this tourney, the Champions Cup, often keeping it in the Midwest, but often at a college campus as well. I was curious, someone who is around younger athletes that maybe aspire to that next level. How important is it to have an event at a facility that maybe gets them thinking about that next stage of life?
I think it's really important. I think that anytime you can have like events, University of Michigan's put them on before, obviously University of Indiana, and there's been others. We went to like Houston one year, things like that. I think that it's it's cool for them to see the facilities. For one, the Chicago Park District is not known for our aquatic facilities. So it's cool for them to see like what that looks like, and just sort of the aura around it. And then I think seeing that and then it continuing to grow as they stay with the club and get more opportunities, so that they know that that is a path that could be for them. I think it's a really big opportunity and just a neat experience all around.
Your club, unique in its own right. I think people have had probably different experiences with their parks program wherever they might have grown up. In Chicago, there's clearly an emphasis and an appreciation for aquatics, and through that, right, a club is fielded. It's a bit different than maybe some of the other clubs people might see that are kind of private entities that operate out of community pools or rent facilities. Can you give us a little backstory how this club kind of operates within the park system and how it all kind of comes together?
Yeah, for sure. So Chicago has a storied history of water polo, and the park specifically as well. And what it used to be was we have somewhere in the verge of 30 to 40 pools in the city, and of course these are all indoor facilities that can run programming. And I would say there's probably about 20 to 25 pools that run consistent programming. So we have our own 10U, 12U, 14U leagues that we run, and they do swimming through their local park. And so it's this neighborhood park idea. And then Santiago Rosario and Beto Garcia had this idea when they first started the club 20 some years ago, thereabout. They had this idea to be able to have year-round water polo. So the parks is like you play for your local park for a season, but what if you wanted to play year-round? What if you wanted to travel nationally consistently? Because some of the parks, if you go back, like parks sent teams, Ridge Park or Harrison Park, they would send teams to these big national tournaments, but there wasn't as much consistency, and the kids didn't have like those consistent all seasons, all year round sort of avenue. And so the gentlemen who started the club, they did an awesome job just sort of coming up with the mission of the club. And so it is aimed at representing the entire city. So we have kids who play for their local parks during the park season, and then they come and play with us as well. So it's not this or that, it's both. And so they represent their local parks during the park season, they represent the club. And so what the club allows us to do is truly represent the entire city, from the very tip of the north side of the city to the very south side of the city. We represent and have kids from parks all over the city. And so when we're traveling, we are traveling truly on behalf of the city. And that is a really incredible thing to be a part of. And I, of course, am the one coach who is an outsider to Chicago and an outsider to the parks. But it has become a way of life for me. I absolutely love this club, and the good and the bad. Like, there's a lot of challenges, but I love this city, and I love the park district and what we're able to help provide for kids and give opportunities for kids to play high level water polo all year round.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty amazing mix of kind of the best of both worlds, where you get that local league competition. I know that's challenging sometimes for clubs to find, or just athletes to find, right? Like consistent local play without having to get on a bus or a plane to go somewhere else. But then you also have the chance to really kind of test yourselves against the most elite clubs in the country. How do you kind of describe this network of parks? Is this kind of where you fit in? Like, who kind of helps all these folks kind of work in concert to kind of have their local competition, but then also offer athletes this club experience that might go beyond the city limits?
Yeah, it's complicated. Like, I am a City of Chicago employee, right? So we're kind of in Chicago. It's called Beaches and Pools because we do have a beach. It is a different style beach, but so beaches and pools and aquatics is where we fall under the Chicago Park District. And so we have we report to essentially trainers who help facilitate all of the things that we need. So they're kind of our bridge to management, and they allow the coaches, because we don't have a head coach. We're just all coaches for the Park District. And it's kind of like one cohesive unit. And then we have a level above us that they are more entrenched with the Park District, and they will do a lot of reaching out to the different pools to see if they have pool time availability for us. And then it's supposed to be like this give back, right? Where the different parks give us pool time, and they support us by sending their kids to us. And then when it comes time for the local season, right, those same kids who are hopefully better and can go back and lead their local park, and we organize those leagues as well. And so we kind of report to the Park District, and they help us in securing pools, securing the things that we need in that regard. Obviously, it is a bureaucracy, right? It is a park district, and it's a big city. And there are definite challenges that we face. But in terms of having this base of athletes and this base of participants, that's probably the biggest benefit that we have, right? We pull from all these different parks and allow kids to play all year round, which is how we get the numbers that we get.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. It seems like it would be a wonderful model to kind of package and share with other big cities. I can't think of another city the size of Chicago that offers. There are certainly parks programs in other parts of the country, but that has this network of competition and pools and everything working together. Do you ever have other places reach out and say, hey, how are you doing what you're doing? How can
USA Water Polo reached out, and we're sort of given a little like spiel and presentation on it. But yes. I think some of the things that are tough with regard to the city component, it is so big, and so it's almost like this overwhelming, like how do you start? And credit to the founders of the club. They no longer coach for the club, but when they founded it, they were really smart, and they started small, and they only took teams when they could, and they prioritized age group. And the other thing that giving both of them due credit is they wanted everything that the boys had an opportunity to do, the girls had an opportunity to do. And so I think, starting small and then allowing it to grow where needed. So like, for example, this past summer, we took 8 teams to the between the 3 different JO sessions, which is more than we've ever taken in the history of the club, because we had the numbers and we had the ability to compete. And so we took 4 teams to compete for the boys' side, and we took 3 teams competing on the girls' side, and then we sent 1 team to Texas, just because we do have the numbers to do that now. But I think it started with those guys really caring about the city, and it started with them just reaching out and starting small, and then slowly but surely it has grown into what it is now at this point.
Yeah, and the talk Nicole was referring to, December 14th, she'll be part of our virtual coach education series, developing water polo programming through city partnerships. So a great chance there to kind of dive into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
You mentioned the growth of the athletes and more teams than ever before. What's the dream? If you could look ahead 5 years, 10 years, where is this thing trying to go? Where do you aspire for it to be?
I wonder if you asked all of us coaches what our different answers would be. And I mean, being in the parks for the 9 or so years that I have been, I think my answer is to provide an opportunity for as many athletes as possible who want to commit to that year-round style, to traveling, to challenging themselves. And then we'll take it the rest as it comes, right? There's no one tournament or one trophy or one anything that really is the goal, because every year is a little bit different, and we do comparatively, we do have limited numbers compared to a lot of other clubs. So you're going to it's going to ebb and flow, a little bit. But I think that having a stable club, having representation on the girls and boys side consistently at these major tournaments, and then just incrementally sort of getting better and getting more competitive on the national scale. That's of course the goal.
In addition to that, I think the other cool thing is something that you referred to earlier, but about opportunity. I think about the local parks and town leagues that I played in growing up as like a admittedly very marginal athlete. The cool thing about it was that there was a place for everybody.
Yeah.
And so I wondered if you could speak to that part of it. While certainly there's aspirations for those elite competitors to fly as high as they possibly can, how great is it that part of the mandate too is to make sure that if someone wants to play this, they can play this?
I think that's kind of the Park District mission as well, right? The Park District is trying to allow for representation in all neighborhoods of the city to have those opportunities. And we do have a really expansive pool and aquatics sort of network. They might not be like the ideal pools or the ideal shape. They're all shallow deep, right? Like we don't have anything that's all deep.
That still counts.
Yeah, it still counts.
Water polo.
But I think it's this, when you're in our local park league, like you really see the neighborhoods represented, and some of them are very new, right? They're very green to the sport, but they're playing the sport. And our job is not necessarily to make them into these like amazing water polo players, but it's like growing the game, and it's allowing them an opportunity to learn a new set of skills. And then if they do really fall in love with the sport, it's nice to have the club side that allows them the ability to travel and whatnot, because our travel is subsidized based on like the Park District is able to subsidize like the coaches travel, and they help to pay for like entry fees and things like that. So there's less of that intense cost that's associated with, youth sports in general. Our kids are able to play all 4 seasons for such a reasonable price that it makes it so accessible no matter where you are in the city or sort of your family financial background. And that's kind of the real beauty of the park and of the club in general. So just opportunity truly for anybody who has a passion or a desire to keep playing.
We're talking with Nicole Lum from Chicago Park District. A few more for you here ahead of the Delfina USA Champions Cup. Let's take the medals out of it. Whatever happens in the pool. On that van ride home, whether it's late Sunday or early Monday, what will have occurred over that weekend that'll make you feel happy about what your athletes were able to do in the water?
Oh man, our MO, since I've been here and moving forward, is always just don't quit. Like, it doesn't matter. We don't care about the score. We go into games and we know that it's a testament to where we are in a snapshot in time with a particular group of kids, right? The goal is that consistency. It's to see what the best is and to use that as motivation to try to get a little bit better and a little bit closer. And I think that when we recap on these big tournaments, and I know this one will be no different, right? It's not focusing on the wins and losses, but focusing on what they learned from that experience. Our kids don't get this high level competition that frequently. And so the amount that we can learn in a weekend about ourselves, about individual players, about where we want to go is so much greater probably than so many other teams who can play all these weekends out of the year. So for us, that's what we try to pride ourselves on, is just like, what did we learn and what can we take moving forward? And then what are the little things that we can do at practice, or what are the focuses that we can move forward so that JO's is a little bit better, right? A little bit stronger. We know what to expect. And so I think it's just that constant iteration. And with age group, right, things change so quickly. They're like different clubs, different groups of kids. Like for our boys side, we graduated, I think it was 16. Like we graduated 16 eighth graders, which is a huge number for us. And so it's like that, you have a whole new team this year that's completely different. And then on the flip side, our girls graduated 2 players last year. And so, that whole crew is coming back basically. And I think it's just one of these things that's really special about the Parks is our kids play together from 10 years old all the way up until 18 years old. And so it's a big tournament, but it's one learning experience, one growth experience on the road. So it's never too much pressure on them. It's never like there are no set expectations other than you go out and learn, and you never quit on a possession. You just shake it off and hit the next possession and see what you can do.
Last thing for you here, we were talking before we started the interview, you've been with this program coming up on about 9-10 years.
Yeah.
You've seen kids probably from 10, 11 to now adults, young adults in college doing their thing out there, succeeding in the world. We know you're not in this for the money. How rewarding is it for you to be able to have a positive influence on a person's life through aquatics, through water polo, and then see them go on to do great things in their life?
I can't say that I'm at the level where now I'm watching them do great things in their life to a crazy degree. I have some athletes who are playing in college, and that's awesome. And it's just like that was able to like stick with them. One of the biggest things for me is you hear about kids losing passion for a sport. And I think that happens for a multitude of reasons, but I want to be on the side of like keeping the love and the passion for the game alive. And what we love to see is our kids coming back, right? Our kids like wanting to practice and stopping by in the summer and saying hi, no matter whether they're playing for club or playing for a D3 or wherever they are, those kids coming back is super, super rewarding. And I think the biggest testament to that, quite honestly, is for the first time, we just recently made a couple of new hires, and those new hires were actually products of the club. And we're now at that stage where they not only did they want to stay involved and invested in the city and in water polo, but they stayed with the park district. And now they get to essentially be that new set of leaders onto like this next generation. And that's when I think that, and I hope that the founders of the club can look back on that, because that's when you've done something really right and really special, is when your own, like the products of your entity want to come back and perpetuate it and see it grow and see it be better. And so for me, that's the most rewarding thing, keeping the passion for the game alive, and just keeping the excitement there for kids from 10 to 18. I'm currently with our high school boys group right now. And I mean, it's wild that some of these kids were 8 when I started coaching them, 8 and 9. And you're just like, how is this happening? But it's the coolest thing ever, because they all play together. They're all best friends, and they don't go to the same high school, and they don't go to the same, they don't live in the same neighborhood, but they're best friends because the club exists and the club brought them together. And then they've played all those years together. I mean, there's nothing better than that. It's fantastic.
That's awesome. Nicole, thanks so much for taking some time. You're ahead of a busy weekend. Good luck to the the squads in Bloomington this weekend, and we'll be sure to talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Once again, big thanks to Nicole. Good luck to CPD this weekend in Indiana. Also to Emma Lineback for joining us as well here on the show. Now on to our Malmston goal of the week. We go back to the men's college water polo game. Harvard making the trip out west. The Crimson taking on Cal State Fullerton. And check out this move here. Mason Hunt moving well without the ball and doesn't even have to gather. Just all in one motion. The one-timer pushes it home to find the cage, and that's our Malmston goal of the week. Again, don't forget, you can share some of your favorite highlights, goals, saves. Share them with us. Tag us at USAWP. Send to the Overnght social media accounts, and we'll share them right here on the show. Looking ahead now, what's coming next on our USA Water Polo calendar? Well, a couple of events we've been talking about quite a bit. Delfina USA Champions Cup this weekend in Indiana. The following weekend, first ever Legacy Crown Elite Women's Water Polo college teams and clubs getting together. Also going to have many members of the 2000 Sydney Olympic team on hand. Looking forward to that. And then into December, we've got college championships on the men's side. The Division III USA Water Polo National Collegiate Championship. Site to be determined. It'll be out west, but it depends who comes out of the SCIAC. So we're keeping a close eye on the SCIAC results in addition to the CWPA. And then, of course, up at Stanford, we have the NCAA Men's Water Polo Championship. That final, as we've told you a couple of times now, just a few times, trying to plug the broadcast here. ESPNU, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, emanating from Stanford University. That is going to do it for this week's show. Thanks so much for joining us. A big good luck to everyone heading to Champions Cup. And don't forget, when you're on the counterattack, look weak side.